I saw a picture this morning that just caused me to reflect back 12 years ago when I moved back to the Mastic Shirley community. So we're going to celebrate soon our 14th wedding anniversary, and so when we got married, we were still living in Queens. We were living in Queens, and we were praying, God, what should we do with our lives? There's so many paths ahead. There's so many different things that look good, and different crossroads, and et cetera, et cetera. So we were praying, and I had visited back home one weekend, and I felt like in that weekend something happened, and God put his finger in my heart, touched my heart, and said, I'm gonna put a burning in your heart and a love in your heart for your community, and you're gonna return back to the Mastic Shirley, Mastic Beach community. I didn't know when that was gonna happen. I didn't know how it was gonna happen, and I was just like, okay, so if that's it, then so be it. At the same time, we were doing street ministry in Jackson Heights on Roosevelt Avenue at night. We were going out, we were bringing food, and just ministering to people that were hanging around the streets almost in the middle of the night on Roosevelt Avenue. At the same time, we got somewhat involved with the Salvation Army in Queens. Someone from the Salvation Army invited me to speak, first at the Queens Temple, and then asked me if I would speak up in Poughkeepsie in upstate New York. And I said, yeah, of course. So the gentleman picked Catherine and myself up. We went to, again, we were living in Queens. He picked us up. We drove to Poughkeepsie, and I spoke up in Poughkeepsie. On the way home, he took us out to lunch, and he said to me, would you consider, both of you consider coming up to Poughkeepsie and being the youth pastors? There's youth in this church, there's no pastor, and it will be, you'll get a salary, you'll get a company car, you'll get a company credit card, and everything you need will be paid for. But burning in my heart was the fact that God spoke to me and said, you are going to return to your community. Now, I want to tell you something. Returning to my community meant coming back, not knowing exactly where we're going to stay, not having a set-up job or salary or benefits or even a reliable car, because again, we were living in Queens at the time. So we answered the call 12 years ago back to this community, and I want to tell you, there's been much resistance. There's been much stress. We've seen a lot. We've been through a lot. We've walked the path of most resistance, but I've found out in the past 12 years that sometimes the path that's not as comfortable, that has a lot of resistance, that looks crazy, is the path that God brings the most fruitfulness out of. So you may say to me, you're crazy. You should have went to Poughkeepsie. Everything was paid for. Everything was all the I's were dotted and the T's were lined up. But I want to tell you, I don't regret for 1 second coming back to this community, because I love my community, and we've seen God save young lives, divert young lives onto better paths. We've seen young people pass away, but they receive Christ before they pass away. We've seen so much stuff. Again, we've seen a lot of suffering. We've seen a lot of resistance, a lot of different stuff. We've learned a lot by what we've seen. But this Sunday morning, I want to tell you that sometimes the path of most resistance and least comfort is the most fruitful. So I don't know who I'm speaking to this morning. I'm just outside, and maybe I'm just speaking to myself, but I'm reminding myself over the past 12 years how faithful God is, how much I love this community, that I'm willing to come outside and sit at the train station and speak to you. And number two is that sometimes we have to make decisions at crossroads in life, and God may say to us, take this way, and it's going to be difficult, but there's going to be a lot of fruit, and a lot of fruit for eternity. Because don't forget about the verse that says, deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me, and I will have treasure when I get to heaven.